Dear white people, stop trying to get invited to
White people are the only people who you can say dear and then put, that ethnicity or ethnic group in front of. Like, just hear me out here. Dear black people, dear Mexican people, dear Asian people. Now, why is that triggering when I say any of those? But if I say dear white people, it almost seems normalized. Oh, Lord. And we are wearing a priest collar. Okay, this is going to be interesting.
the cookout. Hi, I'm a white, red Native American person, and it's Murdered and Missing Indigenous Peoples Day, which means
Why do they always speak in that condescending tone? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Hi, I am, and we are. Is that like a symptomatic of severe mental illness? Is that what that is? That is a. I mean, there's the eyes, of course, right? The wide, insanely wide eyes, the pre-dry eye.
and it's Murdered and Missing Indigenous Peoples Day, which means we gotta talk. All right, so I want to talk about performative allyship and why it's a problem. So I see this idea of getting invited to the cookout as the sort of the modern.
These are the same people who are pretending to be offended about Trump posting that picture when he was the Pope, or at least the White House Twitter account posting that picture. These are the same ones. They pretend to be so offended, yet this is their Catholicism right here. This.
I have black friends because it means you've arrived, right? But I need you to be very, very for real right now. There are some black people that have experienced so much racism.
What do you mean, black people? The obsession with race on the left, with these so-called progressives, these so-called liberals, is actually mind-blowing. They come up with new terms of how to acknowledge color more, right? It's like it's the opposite of the ideology of an MLK, or at least the speech that he gave on that day. It is the mere opposite of that. It is, how do we see color more? How do we make color matter more than anything else, more and more and more? How do we make sure that we never look at anybody's character, but instead look at their skin color? It is insane. And imagine putting on the cosplay of a priest and spewing this sort of nonsense. And the funny thing is, because I am catching the context of the video, I'm going to have to play at least, once more throughout, because, I free flow. I'm going off the top here. But it's incredible to me how this is one of them going against, like, this is them eating their own, as they say. No Diddy. This guy, whatever, is pointing out other white liberals to say, hey, you're not doing good enough for the blacks. And black folk, they didn't really, some of them are asking for literally everything. They want y'all lives. I just recently did a video. She was saying she don't want reparations of money. She wants reparations of your life. But, most black folk don't actually, they're not concerned with what you are giving them or any of that, right? Your allyship, at least the sane ones of us out here. We literally could get less of a damn. We just want to live our lives. But yet they will fixate. The white liberal. Go back to Malcolm X's message about the white liberal. They're sly as a damn fox. They use allyship, black people, people of color, all these sorts of quote unquote minority groups. Even if that group is a majority, they still call them a minority, right? Skewing of language. They use these people as a means to gratify their own narcissism. It's a form of digital narcissistic supply in the digital era.
Now, there are some black people that have experienced so much racism at the hands of white people that they will never be okay with your presence. And I know that that's hard to swallow because you're like, but I'm good. No.
Who are these black people? I straight up need to know who was born past the year 1950, 40, maybe even 30. Who was born after that time that faced so much racism from white people that they can no longer be in the presence of a white person? Because the ones who are telling us this are like a 2012 Justin Bieber looking mother. Because you know what I mean? The child baby face. Now you could be, I don't know how old you are. You could be 30, 40. You look like you're about 8, maybe 12. It's always the children that are trying to tell us how much racism has been experienced throughout history. You're not black and you're not old enough to even have the historic context yet. You can have this assumption. Now, I get it. The propaganda machine has been doing a very good job of pushing this narrative and making it seem like, there's all of this racism taking place everywhere across America. And, police are mowing down black people, throughout the streets, etc. I know that's the narrative that's being sold. And I will end up doing a re-reaction, I guess, or synopsis of a video from, what's his name? Kristen Constantine, I believe is his name. He is a Russian-born or Soviet-born, UK-based intellect, comedian, etc. And what he basically points out is that the year of the rise of BLM, right, when we had all of this, George Floyd this, George Floyd that, etc., there were only 11 black people whose lives were taken by white police officers. Far less than white people whose lives were taken by white police officers. And I'm talking per capita here. Yet the news show the same story or stories over and over and over again, and it creates a concept in our head or creates an image in our head where we believe it's happening everywhere continuously all the time. Right? That's how the mind works in those sorts of realities where if you feed it an idea, that's all it fixates on. So again, that's the part where I don't blame them necessarily for having this warped idea, but it's still insane. Like it doesn't take away from that.
No. If you're good, you will understand. It does not matter how cool and friendly and besties you are with Shamika.
This has to be set. They don't understand how actually racist they are. Black people, you white people, Shamika? Do you know a Shamika? I actually do know a Shamika. I do know a Shamika. She was like a second mother to me growing up. Do you know a Shamika? Clarence or Claire, whichever one you choose on that day. I was not expecting this. I'm sorry.
And friendly and besties you are with Shamika if her grandmother can't relax around you. And I know that you want to prove yourself, but you can't.
I have had enough individuals share with me the reality of what they grew up in. Those who grew up in the 50s, 60s, born in the 50s, 60s, etc. And time again, I hear the very same thing. And that thing is this. It was way better back then. Things have gotten so much worse. We were chilling back then, or we were, much more amicable. People weren't thinking about race like that. Even back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's only when them 2000s hit when all of a sudden there is this full-blown blitz in the mass media propaganda machine having us believing until it becomes reality. And now we have some of the worst race relations probably in the last 80 to 100 years. But let me go ahead and get to this real fast. I want to get to the comment section. I want to get the pulse of the people. Pretending to be male. Well, yeah, that's a reality. So she's pretending to be a man, huh? Sorry, wouldn't buy into her delusion. She's a perfect reason to never become a Catholic. Yeah, you're making a bad name for them Catholics, I guess. Beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravaging wolves. Facts. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Physax. Let's see what we have. Is this parody? I left the Catholic Church a while back. When did they approve of this perversion? We just got the new Pope. He's a Chicago guy. I hear he's super progressive liberal. It's unfortunate that they didn't get, the other dude, was going to be the quote unquote first black pope. That dude at least stood on business. I don't know what this guy's about, but yeah, I don't know what's happening with some of those higher ups in the Catholic Church. Maybe they're just showing their true colors. Your test came back retarded. Yeah. In case you forgot, in the Bible, the demons refer to themselves as we, they, them, us. Ooh, we are legion. That's facts. That's no priest. Yep, there you go. Welcome to the world, my boy. I'm not a boy. I identify as this one's damaged. That's okay. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Y'all are too crazy on this damn app. Y'all got issues. The two things I hate most. Come on. Shout out to my gingers out there. Y'all got a bad rep from South Park. She is racist. Anti-Christian is her master. Oh, Antichrist, excuse me. Stop trying to claim yourself as a Christian. Yeah, sorry. I'm not actually dyslexic. My laptop is a little distance from me. I got a lot of lighting coming in, etc. I'm still trying to figure this out. I used to read directly off my phone. It was slightly a little better. But yeah, I don't like the look when the whole computer is in the way unless it's set up in a perfect sort of way. But I don't want to always have to do this sort of thing. So, I'm kind of compromising at this point until I figure it all out. We're going to need a bigger mental hospital. Indeed. This isn't a priest. Yeah, it's not. And she is a white liberal woman that no man are ever going to accept her as a man. Well, I mean, yeah, here's the thing. I don't know when we got to a place where even the priests were now falling into this foolishness. But then again, what quantifies you as a priest? Who validated that for you? It must have been another insane person who essentially doesn't believe in the doctrine that they claim to actually represent and be a teacher of. So yeah, that's a point for another time. But yeah, there's a mental health crisis in America. Make mental asylums great again. Simple. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3, 6, 5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.